So tell me a little bit about yourself then.
So my name's Simon Miller, I'm 43. I live in South Wales in a place called Pontarddulais.
So tell me a little bit about this car then.
So this is an Ariel Atom 4. It weighs 595 kilos and is 350 brake horsepower. So it gives it a power to weight ratio of 588 brake horsepower per tonne, which is more than a Veyron. Not as much as a Chiron, unfortunately, but it's still pretty powerful. So yeah, it's a manual 6-speed box. There's a few extra modifications, performance modifications made to the car as well. But basically for me, the whole idea of the car was a manual gear change, clutch, braking. You know, it's as raw as you can possibly get in terms of driving. It doesn't weigh much. It's really agile. You can adjust the suspension and so on, and you can drive the car really hard, and it's really rewarding. And you can also sort of turn everything down and off, and you can, you know, sort of tootle along, and you know, you can just take in the scenery and so on if you're just on a little drive out. So yeah, just recently back, or the car is back from being at Silverstone on a track day there. So I spent the day ripping around the circuit. Didn't miss a beat. It was absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, really happy.
So why did you choose the Atom over something like a KTM Expo, for instance?
So I mean, there's lots of cars in the category, or a track car come road car, but for me there were a few different cars I was looking at as well. The BAC Mono was one I was looking at. Nissan GTR R35. For me, this one stood out because there's no luxury to it really. I've got the traction control, which basically controls the launch rev range when you launch the car. The car's that wild and light, and that it doesn't stop the car from stepping out, so it can still get you into whole world trouble if you try. But for me, this car is the most raw driving experience you can get, and it's performed on numerous tests against Caterhams, Crossbows, all sorts of different cars which have a track leaning or a road leaning, and this one is always the victor. It's always the one that performs the best, consistent, the handling, and just the feel, the good factor about it as well. There is nothing not to like. I got to say, you know, I wear a helmet and a dark visor when it's really sunny. I have a big smile on my face. It's really hard to drive this car and not be happy about it, frankly.
So what do you maybe like or dislike about the car then?
So I don't dislike anything about the car, other than the fact that when it rains you get wet. But that's the nature of the car, okay? So for me, there really isn't anything I don't like. It's the specification of the car is of my own choosing. The car was built from new as I wanted it, the same colours and everything that I wanted. The specification is exactly what I wanted. It's a road track leaning, so it's a little bit of a compromise there. It's not dedicated to track, but again, there's lots of things that you can do. Again, I got to say, I think the spec is exactly what I want it to be. The car is exactly how I want it to be. Do I want more power? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think the drivability of the car, if you start to go too far with this, you're just going to lose the back end a lot easier and so on, or the mapping more progressive and stuff. And yeah, you start to reach a compromise on it. So I think as it stands right now, it's absolutely perfect. It's 350 brake horsepower, and it gives you a good kick up the ass when you floor the throttle. So yeah, there's nothing I don't like.
So what made you start CLUB360, and is there anything you would have done differently?
So we started CLUB360 in August of 2023. So we're only babies really as a car club. We're still sort of finding our feet and finding our way, and you know, but basically the foundation of the club and why we existed was for my son Ryan and his mates, who were all massive petrol heads, love cars, love the car scene. And unfortunately, unfortunately, a lot of people have experienced in the car scene, if you're a young person and you have your first car or even your second car, and it's what you can afford, you might be looked on unfavourably by certain car clubs. We don't want your car, we don't want you, blah, 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 we want a certain thing. That's fine. If you set that out and that's what you do, that's great. You can get caught up in car clubs that don't have an identity or not clearly stating what they are, and then you might not be treated exactly how you should be treated. So CLUB360 was basically founded on the basis that we're an inclusive club. We don't care what you drive. We don't care about your age or orientation or anything else that you might you live your life by. No one cares. All we care about is a common language, is the love of cars and love of driving. That's all we care about. Whatever you do in your life, no problem, great. You're all welcome. Everyone is so nice here. We've really built up a lovely community of people and members. I've got to say, it's a real proud thing. I know the other admins, if they were here, they would say the same thing as well. We're really proud of the identity of the club and why it was founded. We're still honing our execution, if you like, of certain activities and things that we do to make sure everyone is in a good place and happy and enjoys. So that again is sort of continued progress as we gain more knowledge and do more things. But the club was really founded around my son and his friends. They didn't have a place to be a member of, and we're going around and approaching other clubs. Can I be on your stand? Can I be? And again, the unfortunate thing was, a lot of them had, say, a Ford Fiesta ST line or something like that. And, oh no, we don't want you on the stand. So from that, I didn't belong to any car club at the time. So I just reached out to my son and said, okay, well, why don't we start something and it'll give you guys somewhere to belong. We never thought for a second it would blow up into what CLUB360 is today. My son and I are thrilled, delighted, and we had experienced admins join pretty much straight away. We've got Ross, we've got Geraint, Lee, Julian, and most recently Jade as well on the video side of things for us as well. And it gives us a combination of people that like different things, different cars and so on. So it gives us a good balance of what we do. We lean on Ryan as our youngest admin as what's cool and relevant, because he thinks we're all a bit too old, or I'm a bit too old because I'm an uncool dad and all the rest of it. So, but yeah, that's basically the foundation of the club. Is if you love cars and driving, you're welcome. We'd love to have you as a member. You'll be treated nicely and you'll be like a part of a family, basically. It's a nice community of people.